Welcome back to the last video in a three-part series I was doing comparing the Jorgensen, the orange planes that you get from Lowe's, versus what some people say the top-of-the-line Lie Nielsen planes. So we've already done the number 4s, we've already done the 60½. All that's left is the, I call them 101. So Jorgensen says 102, Lie Nielsen says 101, or violin maker's plane. The 102s are longer than this if we're going by traditional Stanley numbers. So I'm just going to say 101s. What we are going to do is we're going to put them side by side, review the specs, sharpen them up, and see how they perform. Stick with us. So here are the little guys side by side. I do have to say that I have a collection of 101s, so I love these ones. I just think that they're awesome. I think they're cool. They're cute. They fit in the palm of your hand. I mean, just cool little planes. So going through the specs, the Jorgensen is 7.3 ounces. The Lie Nielsen is 8.4 ounces. It's got to be the brass right there, giving it extra heft. Dimensions, they're exactly the same. So they're 3.5 inches long by 1.25 wide at the mouth part. Cost-wise, iron size first. So Lie Nielsen sticking with same with the number 4 and the 60½. We're coming up with the same blade thicknesses, which is good to hear for the Jorgensen. That's consistent. So there's a 7/64 and Lie Nielsen is 1/8. Now cost. Jorgensen, $15. Go to your local Lowe's, pick it up for $15. Lie Nielsen, $125. That's why I was really excited to do this comparison, because that's a $110 difference for a plane that fits in the palm of your hand that you don't really use that often. At least in my woodworking, I don't use it that often. All right, so let's go over the parts and see what kind of differences we see. They both have the same style of cap. It actually looks like pretty much the same shape. Yeah. Other side, same length and everything too. Ooh, okay, so right here is what I noticed. Jorgensen has more of a contact point. I'll see if I can get it to focus. Lie Nielsen is more pointed. Do you see that? But the Jorgensen, more contact right there, which in my opinion is going to make it more secure. All right, so that's the caps. Here are the irons. Right away we notice, like on the 60½, that this is open, and on the Lie Nielsen it's recessed. Yeah, they're still pretty much identical. The blade angle might be a little bit, no, it's the same. Yep. Yeah, all right, so that's the irons. Then the adjust, I mean, just look at that. Look how similar these two are. What I'm noticing here, okay, that has bumps on the side. This one does too. Obviously, Lie Nielsen's going to be machined better, but this one also, see, this could be taken out also. So if you do not like the orange paint, you can take this out. You can unscrew this back piece. I'll probably need a screwdriver, yeah. But you can unscrew that. See, it's slotted. Unscrew it, and then it'll be easier for you to repaint it. Maybe paint it brass, bronze, so it looks like a Lie Nielsen. So, this has a bigger thumb, which I like. The beds look almost the same. I want to know what this is. Why is there a hole there? Oil, maybe? I don't know, but there's a hole there. They look like they're machined the same. Mouth size. They look almost identical. Jorgensen obviously isn't machined as well, so it's not like perfectly square. We knew that was going to happen for $15. But look how similar those are. Sidewise, let me put them this way. The pins line up. That was one thing I wanted to check, is where that contact point is. Yeah.
The edges aren't as sharp on this. Well, right, that side is. Bottom's not machined as well. This one's completely smooth. But yeah, very similar. Very, very similar. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take these irons and get them sharpened up. Neither of these have been sharpened yet. So this Jorgensen is mine. The Lie Nielsen I'm borrowing from a friend. He said it hasn't even touched wood yet. Mine has, but I didn't sharpen it. I just wanted to test it out right out of the box. It cut out of the box. But we'll get them sharpened up and see how they perform. Check this out. So putting the irons in, look at the play on that. It's seated. Look at that play. This one, obviously it's seated. Very little play. It does feel like I'm going to have to shim this, but play-wise, that's barely moving where this is. So, this can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. If your iron is square, good thing. You don't have to worry about lateral. If your iron is not square, you can't adjust for it. I mean, there's not enough here to adjust. On the Lie Nielsen, if you're a little bit out of square, you can adjust that quite a bit, actually. All right, let's get the caps on. Okay, so I have a scrap piece of maple here. I'm going to go ahead and get it prepped up. All right, let's try the Lie Nielsen first. Let's get this guy going.
All right, so at this point, I'm not surprised anymore. Jorgensen's performing really well. Obviously, this is an obvious thing about all of them. They're cheaper, so you're going to have to finesse it a little bit. The next thing that I want to do to this is flatten the bottom, just like I want to on the other one. Not flatten, sorry, smooth out the bottom because I can feel it. So that's why it didn't look as smooth when I was pushing it, because the bottom's not as smooth as this one is. So, Lie Nielsen right out of the box, $125. Sharpen it, you're ready to go. Jorgensen, $15. Put 5 pieces of paper under the iron, smooth the bottom out a little bit, you're good to go. $110 difference. I had actually planned on getting a Lie Nielsen 101, and I don't think I'm going to now because I got this guy. Maybe I'll change the paint, but it seems like the orange just makes people angry, so part of me just kind of wants to keep it orange. But we'll see. I am going to do one more video in these series. I know I said it was 3-part, but I want to do an overview of just kind of all 3 of them together and briefly go over how they've performed. Again, these decisions are up to you. I'm very happy with a $15 plane versus a $125 plane. I don't care if I have to put 5 pieces of paper, because once you get it set up, it's set up. And what I've been seeing with these irons is they're still shaving hairs after I test them out, which is awesome, because that was one thing I was worried about, was how well they're going to hold an edge. All right, thank you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one.